didn't hear of black artists back then. She told him about one of my artists that I was crazy about. To basically answer your question, Charles White, who literally changed my trajectory. His work used to be on the back walls of this show called Like It Is by Gil Noble, and I looked up and saw someone that looked like me that was making a living off of art, and he talked my mother into letting me switch my major, and haven't looked back since. That's when I really fell in love with art, was because of I was inspired by Charles White.
So I have to plug my father for a second. Is that okay?
Sure.
So my dad's an artist, and for a lot of artists, it's a calling. You know, there's no plan B. You stick with plan A. And my father's idol and inspiration is also Charles White, and he's going to have a show with Charles White's work in dialogue at ACA Galleries, opening on Thursday. So if anybody's in Chelsea, it's my father and Charles White, and hopefully you'll be there as well. And my dad is sort of an unofficial mentor for you. You have some conversations here and there, right?
Yeah.
Actually, can you tell the story about how you got your MFA and what led you to Penn? I think that's a fun story.
I graduated from Rutgers, and like I said, back in '83, which is when I came out of Rutgers. Well, officially '84. I was pledging in '83, and it set me back about a semester. Officially '84 is when I got my degree, but I left campus in '83 and made up the work. But I was working in corporate America for a while, and just helped my mother buy a house, bought a car, and then the company folded. So I ended up going into retail. But the whole time I was still concentrating on my artwork and pursuing my dream of becoming an artist. I was working in a retail store over in Jersey called Tops Appliance. This lady came in and she was looking at items, and she was looking at really cheap and expensive items, so nobody wanted to work with her, because in retail, it's about commission. I went over and started talking to her, and I got her out of the cheap stuff that she was looking at, and I sold her guarantees on everything, right? As she's walking away, I just couldn't do it, because I had basically robbed her. I had basically robbed her, and I just couldn't do it. She reminded me of my mother, so I called her back, and I took out all of the fluff in the. I basically broke it. I had a $200 commission on one ticket, and back then that was a lot. That was a lot of money, And after I took that off and took the service contracts off and all of that stuff, I had a $10 commission.
Wow.
Right, and basically just for writing the order up. But she said to me, she's like, why'd you do this? And I was like, you remind me of my mother, and you're not a smart shopper. And she's like, thank you so much. She says, one day in life I'm gonna return the favor. And I was like, don't worry about it, just be a better shopper. So literally 6 months later, the first article that ever came out on me came out in a newspaper called The Home News. And in the article I said, thanks to shows like The Cosby Show for showing black art on the walls, more people are starting to collect art, right? And at the bottom of the article, it had my number, my home number. And all of a sudden, the next day, I get a phone call from her, and she says, "Hi, Alonzo. This is Ann Singletary. You helped me out at Tops." I was like, "Hi, how you doing?" and she goes, "Yeah. I saw the article that you wrote because I had been getting calls pretty much all day." And she goes, I have someone that I'd like to show your artwork to." And because I didn't remember her, it was 6 months later. And she goes, my son got a role on The Cosby Show. I was like, "Hi, Miss Singletary, how you been?" So she took the article and showed it to Mr. Cosby, and he called me up on the phone and literally changed my life. He bought a painting over the phone, sight unseen, I just described it to him. I went over and I met him, and he says to me, because I was working in watercolors back then, and he says, "This is a watercolor?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "It's amazing, because God gave me the gift of being able to paint. You know, the schools didn't do it because everybody was abstractionists. All my professors were abstractionists. So I have the degrees, but I have the God-given talent. You know, I taught myself how to paint, to be honest with you." So he says to me, he's like, "You've mastered watercolor. I want you to learn how to paint in oils." And he goes, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, to be honest with you, I just want to be the best black artist that ever lived. He goes, "No, you want to be the best artist that ever lived. Don't limit it to being the best black artist." He says, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you." He says, "You pick out whatever school you want to go to in the world. Get accepted on your own merit. Don't mention my name at all, and I'll pay for it." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think you have the potential to be that good." And he said, "But I need you to learn oils, because oils is what's going to get you into the museums." And I ended up choosing I got accepted at all the schools. Well, no, I got turned down to Syracuse. And I ended up going to University of Pennsylvania, and that's where Heather and I met. But that was my journey to UPenn, and he changed my life. To be honest with you, it's like at every point in my journey, there's been someone to say, "Okay, let's go this way. It's a better path." You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and you know, there's so many artists that are hot, you know, and it's only for a moment, you know. But longevity is what matters to me.
So let's talk a little bit about the pieces over here, and you're certainly a great verbal storyteller,
Okay.
As well as a visual storyteller. So tell us about that and the Black experiences your work so beautifully captures and reflects.
There was a saying that I learned years ago, and it said, if you want to keep something away from a black person, put it in a book. Okay? Because you gotta remember, when we were enslaved, we weren't allowed to read. You know, so a lot of my paintings deal with children and education. And my mother always said to me when I was growing up, they can take away everything from you, but they can't take away what you have up here. And so a lot of my paintings deal with hope, deal with education, deal with the uplifting. Because when I started doing this, and when I started doing it, taking it seriously as a career, and I used to go to shows. A lady came up to me and she goes, "Wow," and she goes, "Can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Sure." And it was the first time this question had been asked. She says, "How come you only paint black people?" And I said to her, I remember me being me, I said, "If I don't paint us and you don't paint us, who's gonna paint us?" And she's like, okay. And fast forward, when I got to grad school, Neil Welliver, he was the chairman of the department, came into my studio the first week, and he goes, "Alonzo Adams." And he goes like this. He's like, "I've been waiting to get my hands on you." You know, because he's the one who included me, you know, coming here and everything. He goes, "You have such raw talent." He goes, "But I gotta ask you a question. How come you only paint black people?" Right? And so now this is what, 1988. I've been dealing with that question for about 10 years now. So I said, "Neil, let me ask you a question. Let's stop in their studio and ask them why they're feminists, you know, and why they paint only feminist art, or why abstractionists." I was like, "But the first thing you want to do when you walk into my studio is ask me why do I paint black people, you know, paint black figures and everything." I said, "It's what I have a passion for, you know, telling our stories." And he says, "Well, just do me a favor. Do one painting without a black figure in it." I was like, "Oh." He said, for me, right? So he said, I'm gonna come back in 2 weeks and I wanna see you, right? So I did this painting called Evolution of Dance, right? In it, it had, it was a still life. It had a book that said Dance Theater of Harlem. It had it had a sculpture from Africa, and it had a pair of ballet slippers, right? And so he comes back in the studio. He says, "Now this I love. I love this, right?" And he goes, "And see, you did it without painting a black figure." And when I broke it down to him, dance started, in Africa, and as it went forward, ballet and this and that, and then the African bust, and then the dance did. He goes, oh, "Do what you want." I walked into a gallery over in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and that's when I first started coming out with prints and stuff like that, because black people weren't collecting, so prints were the way you made your money. And I asked the gallery owner he's like, "Oh my God, this work is phenomenal." I'm like, "Yes, I'm gonna have some place to show my work." And he goes, "But I can't show your work." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Your people don't buy artwork." And he wasn't saying it to be racist. He really wasn't. We weren't buying that much artwork back then. So he's like, these walls, each space on this wall is money generating. That's what a gallery is. I don't hang to show, I hang to sell. I remember from that point on, I wanted to force feed artwork down the world's throat. I like doing what I'm not supposed to be able to do. I was able to dunk a basketball. I wasn't supposed to do that. I broke, ran under 2 minutes and a half mile. I wasn't supposed to do that. I wasn't supposed to make it as a black artist, okay? So I like doing what I'm not supposed to be able to do.
That, yes.
I still have that drive to be, it's not about money. I don't want to make money, I want to make a difference. I want to make money too. I don't romanticize the thought of being a starving artist, but I want my art to make a difference, and that's what keeps driving me. To be honest, I want to be in the conversation. When they talk about the greats of this era, I want to be in the conversation.
You are.
So I get inspired because I love painting natural scenes. I love painting laborers. I love painting. I was raised part of my life in the Old South. And the Old South is not there anymore, but it's there in third world countries. When you see people working in the fields, people, wagon drawn, mules pulling wagons, and people living very modestly. I like to capture that in my work. Some of my favorite artists captured the simplicities of life, and that's what I find when I travel. Like I went to Ghana, and oh my God, that was a life-changing experience, and I brought back so many images from Ghana. Dr. Angelo said this to me one day, and I said, I remember saying the exact conversation. I said, "Dr. Angelo," I said, "I'm searching for that artistic voice." And she said to me, in that eloquent voice of hers, she says, "Young Mr. Adams, you have to go out into the world, soak it up like a sponge, and bring it back to your studio and wring it out." And ever since she said that to me, I've been traveling and literally soaking up the world like a sponge and bringing it back to my studio and wringing it out. And I miss her. We used to have some really, really great conversations. People that pass through your life and touch you. And I try to, one thing that Mr. Cosby said to me that I'll always remember is, as you move forward, pull from behind, and we'll all get there. So I try to do that with young students and just young people and just people in general. I'm stretching, and as I'm stretching, I'm pulling somebody out, that from back here, to stretch with me, and like he said, we'll all get there together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you just walk us through these two beautiful pieces here? I think we'd love to hear a little bit more about them.
The one on the left is called Hope Rising. Okay. I love putting birds in my paintings because birds can go anywhere. They can just lift their wings and fly, and I see so much hope in when I see birds. The flight of an eagle. Just birds just moving through space. So I always like to do paintings that are uplifting. So that was called Hope Rising. And like I said before, with enlightenment, they can take away everything. They can't take away what you have up here. And so I always encourage reading.
I'm just curious, what's your process before you paint? Do you draw it out, or do you have a vision in your head, or do you just kind of go with the canvas?
The hardest thing for me is to visualize it. The easiest part is the painting. One professor said to me years ago, "You're so arrogant," and I was like, I like to believe I'm one of the most humble people. He's like, "No, you're so arrogant. You go straight to the painting, as opposed to sketching." And he's like, and he literally taught me to become intimate with the artwork. Do sketches. Become intimate with it before you actually put paint to canvas. So maybe 15 years ago, I started doing sketches. And that lead to, like I said, the visualization is the hardest part. Saying what I want to say is the hardest part. The painting is the easiest part.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back. I really hope that you enjoyed those snippets from that art talk with Alonzo Adams, a prolific, talented visionary of our time, might I say. He opened up so much about his life and his upbringing and how that eventually influenced his art, his reasons behind his art, and he actually brought two works as well, so they were on display while he was talking. And to just see the level of technique, it's incredible. There are so many, not only Black artists, but artists, period, who just blow my mind that I discover all the time. And I just loved hearing him speak about his life and his work. So we just got back home. I got a smoothie from Brooklyn Blend. You already know. If you watch my videos, I am totally obsessed. Black-owned, family-owned spot in Brooklyn. This one right here, this is my go-to. It's called the Pop Special, named after the owner's dad. So adorable. But it's got blueberries and almond milk and oats, all of the good things that you want to sustain yourself. It's got sea moss too, hey. And if you're a girly who travels, they actually just opened up another location in JFK Airport, which is incredible. Their consistency is 10 out of 10. So I got that. I lit some candles, also Black owned, woman owned. Two of them, Dear Mama and Black Magic, are by a lovely woman named Lindsay. I'll put her website down below. And the third one, Nude, is from another favorite spot of mine in Brooklyn called Cafe Rudi. Another family-owned Senegalese spot. Delicious food, delicious, so flavorful. And then around the corner, they have a shop where they sell clothes and accessories. There's a nail salon in the back. They have their own line of nail polish. Everything from candles to oils to dresses and shoes and bags, earrings, everything you name it. There's stores around the corner and they have the best pieces. I actually just picked up a silver bag from them not too long ago, so Love, love, love this place. Please go support them. I will put their websites down below. So yeah, those are the vibes. I've also got my Black is Beautiful beanie. That is not a beanie, girl. This is definitely a bucket hat. My Black is Beautiful bucket hat on my head. Oh my gosh. How amazing. I absolutely love this hat. I got it at another spot in Brooklyn. I don't remember the name, but if I ever do happen to pass it again, I will find it and link it down below. So today we are being super intentional about this being a beautiful and very Black day. I think it is incredible that during this month we all collectively make an effort, a conscious effort to put Black people and Black businesses, Black creativity at the forefront. It makes me incredibly proud to witness and be a part of people discovering all of the wonderful and beautiful and majestic and excellent things that people are. But being Black means that Black History Month is not only in February, and you don't also make history only once a year. You make history every single day with your existence. So I need everyone watching to know that. So continue to celebrate, continue to learn, continue to expand your mind about history that is not only just a part of this country, but a part of the world. We have elevated the world. Know that. Getting more acclimated with artists like Alonzo Adams or just the local Black businesses that I love to support truly drives in me a desire to know more and a desire to be more tapped in. So I love when the opportunity arises and I get to do that and be a part of that. I feel like I learned so much today. It was so informative and so inspirational. Alonzo Adams is not only a brilliant artist, but just a brilliant man. Had a lot of troubles, you know, like in his upbringing, and despite it all, he let his art speak and he put his art at the forefront of everything. He led with that, and it led him to an abundance of opportunities and blessings because of his art. And I just find that to be so cool, so inspirational. So I'm so happy that I got to see that today. Guys, now more than ever is the time to be intentional about the information that you seek and about what it is that you allow to inspire you. Is this conducive to your own good? Is this helping you to educate yourself? Figure these things out for yourself and then go towards that. Be intentional about seeking the right information outside of yourself. We live in such a beautiful and diverse time. There's always something to learn from somebody else. And despite what is going on in the places that be, there is always a great time to be inclusive of that. Black people are so beautiful and diverse and unique. We all have a different story to tell, and it's so imperative that you tell it. It's so imperative that you speak your truth, especially during a time like now, in whichever way that means for you, whatever it is that lifts your own spirit and that you find is a great and healthy way for you to get your message across and share your light out into the world while also standing up for something. Go ahead and do it. Surround yourself with people who you can learn from. Surround yourself with experiences that open up your mind. Expand your palette for more, for diversity. It's so important. This is what drives the human race forward in the right direction. So that is top of the list for me, and it has always been, and I will continue on the path to including that in my life. Another thing, start wherever you are. These things that we do to show support or to include more diverse voices don't have to be on the grand scale of like drastic gestures, you know what I mean? Like, it can start so small. Like for me, it's starting by wearing this hat and supporting some of my local faves. But that is enough, so I encourage all of you to do the same. Start where you can and just let it spread from there. Let the love spread out from there. Continue to be inclusive of others. Continue to be empathetic of others. Continue to let your light radiate and shine. You are absolutely gorgeous. You are beautiful. You are massive. You are impeccable. You are excellent. Okay, you are opulent. You have such a rich history and culture. Like, it is just incredible. I want to remind all of you, okay? Do not forget it. So with all of that being said, I really hope that you all had an excellent Black History Month. And remember to not only celebrate Black people and Black culture and Black history during this month, but every month of the year, honey. A special thank you to Alonzo Adams for the inspiration and just the kindness, the love. I really hope that you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give a like, comment, and subscribe. I love you. I love me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.